What do you get when you take a young Aussie vet and move him from the beaches of sunny Queensland to the Royal Borough of Richmond on London's historic River Thames?
Hello. Hi, guys.
The British people love animals.
Hey, do you miss Mummy?
For me, they're kindred spirits.
Caring for creatures great and small, there's never a dull moment for Dr. Scott Miller.
That is far too forward, I'm afraid.
And grateful owners certainly know who to turn to in their hour of need.
I'm sorry.
Scott cares, and I don't think you can fake that.
And normally, as a vet, you know, you can have a sort of a line. Yeah, sorry.
Tough northerner and supposed to be a tough Australian, and look what dogs do to him.
This big-hearted boy from Oz is making his mark in one of the biggest cities in the world.
He's going down the pub. Going down the pub with his mates.
I doff my cap to the doctor.
That's a bit too much time there, mate.
On this episode of Vet on the Hill,
You guys have got a bit of a matching hairstyle today.
star power at the practice as a former S Club 7 pop idol brings in a spaniel with really bad breath.
Breath that I knew Mother would love. Let's put it that way.
I thought all dogs smelled like that.
Yeah, no, it is pretty bad.
Emma volunteers to help out some new four-legged friends.
Real big kiss.
That is one happy donkey.
A special first aid lesson makes the vet blush.
So I think you're going to have to give mouth to mouth.
Mouth to
Scott.
mouth.
Yes.
Yeah, on the dog.
Well, you could try me.
But when tragedy strikes his own family,
Examined her and I could tell that this was a spinal injury.
a heartbroken Scott faces up to the toughest challenge of his life.
And I think given that she's got worse and she's now paraplegic, we've got to do all we can, really.
Betty, come. Little gentle licking.
Nobody.
There's a busy day of appointments ahead for Scott, but he's getting in some family time before he leaves for the practice.
Oh, she's such a clever puppy. She is.
9-year-old Betty is definitely an important part of the Miller tribe.
Betty sort of signalled the start of a new lease on life for me, really. I had her as a puppy. She was super cute, and wow, was she attractive to the opposite sex. And then I met my wife very soon after. It was a deal breaker. If she didn't like animals, she was out. Lucky, she did.
No licking. There's no licking. There's no licking.
She predates me with Scott by 8 months. But basically, there hasn't been a Scott and I without Betty. It's always been, you know, the trio. And now, of course, having the kids and being at home more, we spend a lot of time together.
It's very true to say that Betty sees Zoe as the other woman. When I'm in the room, she kind of looks at Zoe. If Zoe's trying to tell her to do something, and goes, "It's talking to me again." Like, she doesn't understand why I had to bring other people into our relationship.
There's no licking.
She is very much part of the family, but in a lot of ways, she was my first love.
Today, Betty's a happy pooch. She and her dad are on a special assignment together.
Hello, Sandy.
Hi, Scott.
Hey. Great to see you.
Thank you so much for taking time out to show me first aid, Scott.
My pleasure,
Thank
my
you.
pleasure. Now, you know Betty, my border
I do,
terrier.
and you've got another dog?
This is Sparky the dog, and very soon we're going to be sparking her back into life.
Are you sure about that, Scott?
We'll give it a go. We'll give it a go.
Sandy's an incredible lady. She's come from a high-powered job in banking to be a dog walker.
So I brought my beautiful Betty along today because she is my very good stand-in patient.
And when she asked me to do first aid to help her in her new business venture, sounds good? Sure. This is just an example that we can use for placing a muzzle.
Yeah.
Okay.
The reason I asked Scott to help me was because I don't just want to be any dog walker. I want to be the best dog walker who can handle any situation that arises.
What are we doing, Kelly? What are you going to do? Shimmy, 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 shimmy.
Sandy's VIP dog minding business offers services ranging from special garden visits to standard dog walking.
This is my ideal job. This is why I was born. I was born to be with dogs, to play with them. Without dogs in my life, I'm empty. My soul sings when I'm with dogs.
And then one really important component of a first aid kit is, of course, the mobile phone. You absolutely have to have your vets on speed dial. You have to have them in there just so that you can speak to them.
But you're my vet, Scott.
Sure.
So you're on my speed dial and I can call you anytime?
Wow, that sounds dangerous. She is great fun to have around, but occasionally she makes me blush. Well, I suppose it is a 24-hour job, so.
That it is. Yeah.
Now we're going to do something that I really hope will never happen for you. The worst-case scenario, which would be to try and resuscitate a dog that either isn't breathing or doesn't have a pulse.
Yeah. Wow.
So if you felt and you were sure that there was no pulse and there's no heart rate, then you might need to try and kick-start the heart.
Okay.
And the way to do that, first of all, is a sharp hit on the chest.
It would be that sharp, Scott.
The last thing you want to do is to do this when they have a pulse, so you need to be really sure that they don't.
You have to make sure, yeah.
That's right.
The force that is used to start the heart did really scare me. I hope to God I never have to do that, ever. But if I am in that situation, thank God for Scott, I would know exactly what to do.
So have a feel. Does Sparky have a pulse?
No, so I think you're going to have to give mouth to mouth.
Mouth to mouth.
Scott. Yes.
Yeah, on the dog.
Well, you could try me. For a second there, I wasn't sure if Scott was meaning mouth to me, or was it actually to Sparky?
Let's just try the dog first, shall we? Yeah?
But unfortunately, he did mean Sparky and not me. But hey-ho.
So if you still realise the heart isn't going, then you do compression. 1 per second's about right for the average dog. It's about 60. It's a little low, but that's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. If there wasn't any breathing, then you do...
Back to mouth, yeah.
Look. 15 compressions, 2 breaths. Do that over 3 minutes. And unfortunately, if over 3 minutes the dog isn't breathing and doesn't have a heart rate, then sadly, you won't be able to save Sparky. But in this instance...
Yeah. Ta-da!
Ta-da!
Sparky's alive. Well
Perfect job. High five. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, Bertie. Yay, see what your daddy did? He brought Sparky back to life. Yay!
To have this knowledge behind you and to know that if any situation arises, I'm going to be able to handle it. And it's all going to be down to a fabulous vet taking time out to show me what a brilliant, brilliant man he is. And it's so nice that he's good looking too.
I think I need a human first aid lesson now. Yes.
I reckon I've got a muzzle that might fit you in there. She just doesn't know what to do with herself. She's knackered and she's sore, but she won't sleep.
Next day, Scott's world is suddenly turned upside down.
Hey, come on.
Ironically, after yesterday's fun first aid lesson, Betty has just suffered a serious injury.
So it was on my day off, and I was taking my son Jackson to the park, and of course Betty comes along, and I literally threw the ball, as I always do, and the second time I threw it, she yelped out in pain, and Betty started dragging her legs towards me. Betty's got you. The fact that she'd gone from walking perfectly well to being paralysed, I knew that this was not your average injury. So I literally scooped her up, ran home with the baby, called Zoe. She ran back. Shush, honey, shush.
It's all right, baby. Daddy's going to try and help you.
There's nothing on this right side at all.
Absolutely nothing, is She's not trying on that side at all, huh? It's all right.
Okay. Yeah, just let it. So straight away, examined her, and I could tell that both of her back legs are paralysed, and this was a spinal injury.
Get her over to Michael.
Yeah.
Despite already being given pain relief, the traumatized terrier is still crying out for help from her best friend.
Take you to Uncle Michael's house.
Come on, let's get her. Go. The sooner we get her, the better.
Scott is about to take Betty to specialist orthopedic surgeon Michael Hamilton to find out if anything can be done.
I need to go and see Michael. Yeah, just see a mate. Who knows more about this stuff than me. Just to kind of, just give me the honest steer. Because my heart is really in my head right now. Come on, baby. Come on. Be brave.
Okay, let's get the stuff for the car, so she needs to get going.
Okay.
Got her. Mummy loves you. Call me, won't you? Okay,
I love you.
as soon as you speak to Michael, call me.
Okay. See ya.
Drive safe, Baba.
Thanks. Good girl. Stay, baby. Stay.
Scott's now arrived at the Cherry Tree Veterinary Practice. His longtime friend, specialist orthopedic surgeon Michael Hamilton, is waiting to examine Betty.
Hi, mate.
Hey, mate. Right, OK. Hey, Betty. Right, let's get you looked at. Come on in, honey.
The little terrier fell down in the park, and her back legs are now paralysed.
It was kind of weird to see Scotty quite sit down. I mean, he came in today, and Betty was she was in so much pain, and Scotty knew it. You know, she's getting worse. He's just really, really worried.
Basically, she was just chasing a ball, and she squeaked, and then I turned around and she was just dragging her legs towards me. She, since can't control her bowels, she can't control her bladder, and she's just getting increasingly painful.
Yeah, she's uncomfortable, isn't she? Sure. Give it your sec, Scott. I'm just going to get a little sling. I just need to see if she's got much voluntary movement there. Yeah. I'll be right back.
Okay. Come on, honey. Come on. Come on. Come on. I know. I totally feel that I'm in the right place. Michael's known Betty as long as I've had her. So, you know, he has known how much I'm invested in this dog and how much I love her, and he will very quickly want to do the very best that he can as well.
She's got a little bit of voluntary movement in her left.
This looks awful.
Not much in the right, though. OK. Right.
I just feel very privileged that they've just opened their doors and they've said, come on in, we'll do what we can as soon as we can, and I'm very lucky for that.
The most likely thing by a mile, given how she's painful, is that she's burst a disc in her back, and some of the content of the disc is now squashing the spinal cord. Okay. And then everything kind of downstream just isn't working very well. So that's the most likely thing. Okay. What we need to do is we need to try and get a look at her spinal cord and see if it's compressed, and if it is compressed, exactly where is it compressed? Because if that's the case, we can potentially do an operation to decompress, and then hopefully, a bit like a kind of a water hose with the messages going up and down. You put your foot in the hose, the messages don't work. You take your foot off the hose and the messages hopefully start again. We just got to get a move on, see if she's got compression or not, and if she does, decompress surgically.
Okay. All right then, honey.
we're in the right place. Yeah. Okay, Uncle Mark will sort you out.
At the same time, Scott's head vet nurse, Emma, is driving out of London, unaware that her boss is suddenly in the middle of his own veterinary crisis.
I've got a rare weekday off today, so I'm heading out to Oxfordshire to meet a lovely gentleman called John, who's going to show me some pretty special animals, not ones that you see every day in Richmond.
Horse lover Emma has wanted to visit the Island Farm Sanctuary for some time.
Oh, John, this is fantastic. Look at them all.
Yes, yes. They're all great friends.
This donkey paradise is John's passion. He's been the manager here for more than 20 years.
Have you named them all?
Yes, that's Mrs. P, that's Mabel, that's Speckles.
That's very
That's
impressive.
Daffy over there, the big one over there is Daffy.
So a friend of mine had told me about John and the donkey sanctuary, and being fascinated with them and my horsey background, I had to come and see what it was all about.
This is Princess. She's one of our oldest residents. She's
Okay.
been here since 1986.
Oh, hi, Princess.
She come from a horse fair. She'd been left up there, tied to a hedge for a week when we went to collect her. Every donkey's life, to me, is worth fighting for. And there's no donkey too old that we don't try to give it the best life. And if it's not very well, we try to get it well. She's got some seedy toe, which I'd like you to have a look at.
Absolutely, I can do that
And,
for you. So Princess's seedy toe was really quite yucky. Donkey hooves don't smell that good at the best of times, so add an infection, and that's something that'll turn your stomach. She does have that nice thrushy smell that you get, doesn't she? And you can definitely see where it's eaten away through the white line.
It's eaten into
It is,
the
you
hoof.
can
so
really
the
see
white
the
line.
groove in there, can't you?
Yes. What would you recommend?
Probably at this, I would say probably just an antibacterial if you've got any to hand. So John just takes in these poor donkeys that have been through so much in their lives, and they've just got a history of abuse or whatever it might be, and the love that he gives to them, it's like he's just trying to wipe their memories clean by giving them a fresh start. It's really special. All right, on to the next task.
And to the next one, right.
It's going to be wriggly.
Probably. You're gonna be a wriggly girl, are you?
The little terrier fell over in the park chasing a ball and immediately lost the use of her back legs.
She's in a lot of pain, it's getting worse, and so, you know, if we do nothing, there's going to come a point whereby she can't even feel her feet, and then the prognosis gets worse, so, you know, time's kind of of the essence. Best mate, dog's in a bad old state, got to bring my A game to fix this dog. Try and get her nice and straight. Okay, right. Everybody out. When we stick the needle in, if we're in the right place, we'll see a little twitch, and then we might see some spinal fluids coming up through the needle, and then we're going to inject the contrast.
I thought I was gonna lose her. I was stripped of all control, and I had to put my faith in someone else. It really did clarify just how much she means to me.
So there it is, mate. If you look at the fluid underneath, just here, okay, this is all good, but you just kind of lose it around about here. So this is our one here.
Okay, but looking at that, you think that this definitely needs surgery, right?
Yeah.
I knew it was bad, but it's really bad.
Operating near the spinal cord has massive inherent risks. You know, the spinal cord, if the cells have died, they don't regenerate. So worst case scenario is she never walks again.
While Scott is living his worst nightmare, Emma is in the beautiful Oxfordshire countryside, lending a hand at the Island Farm Donkey Sanctuary.
All right, John, who have we got here?
This is Tracy.
Hi,
She's
Tracy.
been with us for about 8 years now, but I think she's developed a bit of conjunctivitis in the eye. I wonder if you could just have a look at it.
Oh, that'll feel much better, won't it? Let's get rid of all of that for you, sweetheart.
We only scratch the surface, really. There's an awful lot more out there which we could save, but we just work hard to keep it all going. That feels a lot better, Tracy, doesn't it? Yeah, of course it does.
As I'm talking to John about all these different donkeys and where they've come from, the more I just want to bow my head to him and just, on behalf of all of them, I think, say thank you to him, because he's an absolute hero to them.
Are you going to marry me?
Oh.
Are you going to marry me?
Beautiful lady.
Boo, 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 boo.
I hope that more people will be able to come down, help out, and just see the life-changing work that goes on here.
Lots and lots of cuddles, yeah. Real big kiss. There.
That is one happy donkey. We could all be so lucky.
Yeah.
Hi.
There we
Hello.
I know he wouldn't say that to me unless he really meant it. So, yeah. So I'm really happy. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's real hope with that now. Yeah, I might actually get my dog back, which is pretty cool. Yeah.
Brave girl. Please, brave girl.
Betty was in a pretty bad way today. She's a grade 4 out of 5. She's what we call a paraplegic. We've decompressed quickly and we've decompressed a lot. So, you know, her prognosis is actually quite good. You know, she's got a kind of an 85% chance of recovery. I don't want to jinx things, but I think she's going to do great.
Here we go. Ooh, she's so good. Such a brave girl.
While Michael is cautiously optimistic, he has warned Scott not to expect any sign of improvement for at least a week. A full recovery could take months, but it may never happen.
I will will her to walk again. I couldn't think of that not being the case. So I'm just going to keep hoping that that's going to happen and that everything that everyone's done today is going to make that difference.
Daddy loves you so much. Good. Hey, yeah, we just got to get better. Right? Get better.
Okay, baby. It's physio time. Yes, it is.
It's been 3 days since Betty's spinal surgery. Zoe asked Scott if she could look after the little terrier at home and give her round-the-clock care.
Bit of a massage, don't we, Bits?
Betty's surgeon, Michael Hamilton, has warned them it could take up to a week for the patient to show any signs of movement in her paralysed limbs.
All that blood flowing through the muscle. Keep it all nice and stimulated.
There are no guarantees of a full recovery.
I think she's maybe a little brighter in herself, which is good. She's definitely pleased to see people when they come in. She's just frustrated she can't do her usual meet and greet at the door that Betty does like to do with a lot of licking as well. But yeah, I think maybe a little brighter in herself. I think so, yeah. Stretch, honey bunch. Good girl. That's it. I know. Lay down, lay down. There definitely is something there. There's some sort of deep pain sensitivity there for sure. We're not getting any reaction at the moment from the knuckle test. We're hoping that she'll correct her own paw on that, which she's not doing at the moment. But we just keep testing. She does her physio sort of 2 to 3 times a day. We're just going to keep testing it. Come on, Betty. You can do it, baby. Spring back. Not today, but that's okay. That's okay. Not this morning, maybe later, hey? You are constantly on edge because you want to see an improvement, but you're scared you're going to see something to the contrary. It's really hard. It's really hard. It's what being a pet owner is. And here we go. Good girl, feet down. But it doesn't make it any easier to see, doesn't make it any easier to do, and to watch Betty get so upset sometimes when she forgets that she can't move and she goes to step forward and she goes to come and see you. You see, she just gets genuinely sad in that moment, and she's such a good dog, you know? You don't want to see her like that. Good girl, you're all done. Same again, 2 hours time, yeah? Yeah, same place, same time, Bubba. Come on.
Hello. Let's have a little listen to you.
Meanwhile, Scott has forced himself to go back to work. He's trying to put on a brave face.
It's true to say that the first few days after the surgery was pure torture. And I was the classic cliche owner. Michael said, don't worry for the first 7 days, but I always get calls from the owners the next day. And what did I do? Called him the next day.
Stan, the man! I thought I heard you. Hello, buddy.
Right now, the distraction of patience is helping Scott cope with the waiting game.
You guys have got with a matching hairstyle today.
Yeah, they do say that owners look like their dogs.
They do, well, except for the purple.
Yeah.
He's always pleased to see regular client Hannah and her much-loved Stanley.
Come on in.
Cool.
Hannah originally was in a band called S Club 7, which was huge when I first came over here to the UK. And they had a string of #1 hits. So she's very much a well-known person, but certainly an absolutely gorgeous client to deal with.
Hello, champ. It's been a little while since I've seen you, isn't it?
Oh, Stanley is like my best friend. I love him to bits. I don't actually have him all the time. I share him with my ex-partner. When I don't have him, yeah, I miss him hugely.
Completely look like me then.
Yeah. I've been Hannah's vet now for the last few years and been treating the gorgeous Stanley, and he's been a great little patient, although he has struggled with quite a severe illness called syringomyelia.
Syringomyelia is an extremely serious condition in which excess fluid is produced within the spinal cord near the brain. Symptoms include severe pain, with dogs feeling the uncontrollable urge to scratch at their neck and shoulders.
So, how have things been going with this syringomyelia?
I think pretty good. He hasn't been doing any sort of stargazing, which is fantastic. And the neck pain, I think, seems to have definitely gone down. So, fingers crossed.
So neck pain was what he presented with, and then also they do that odd sort of scratching at the neck. But he actually seems great now. I mean, there's absolutely no pain there whatsoever. Is there, champ? No. It's all very good. So let's just have a look at the rest of you, shall we? Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, he's got pongy breath.
Breath that only a mother would love. Let's put it that way.
I thought all dogs smell like that.
Stanley's a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel, and they have the same amount of teeth as any other dog, but crammed into a tiny little mouth, which just means that some of them are at odd angles, they accumulate tartar a little bit faster, and even with the owner's best efforts to keep the teeth clean, sadly, they do lose more teeth than most other breeds.
What we've got here, my friend, is a loose tooth. So actually the premolars, they're the ones between the canines, the sort of catching teeth, and the molars, the grinding teeth, is actually quite loose.
Will he have been in a lot of pain from that?
In the past, with his neck pain, he's not been possibly the bravest puppy in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think in this instance, if it was sore, he would tell us. And you're not telling us, you're just trying to lick us to death, aren't you? Hey?
So Stanley's going to be staying with me today, and during that time we're going to have to knock him out under a general anaesthetic, and then we'll be assessing all the teeth, but definitely removing those 2 loose ones.
Oh.
Wish Mummy and I stay at work.
Yeah, and I'll see you later.
Say bye, Mummy. Say bye. See you later.
Bye. See you again.
See you and you,
Bye.
Hannah. Bye. Say bye, Mummy.
Come on then, Stanley. Let's go see Scott. Say hi.
Hello, champ. Have you copped a whiff yet?
Just a bit stinky.
Yeah.
Bless him.
He's not been using his Listerine, has he?
No, definitely not.
Yummy. Stanley was actually quite a brave boy today. His pain threshold normally isn't particularly high, but he let me put the catheter in. He was a very good boy. That nasty tartar and grossness on that tooth there.
As soon as Scott begins the dental work on Stanley, it becomes obvious this is going to be a much bigger job than expected.
I had a good look in the mouth and then started to chip away at all that nasty tartar which had accumulated on his teeth, and actually found that his dental disease was quite a lot worse than I'd anticipated. So, Jess, we're at 6 teeth now, soon to be number 7, and that's only on just one side, so a bit of a surprise. The motto for teeth is, if in doubt, pull it out. So legs underneath, 1, 2, 3, and over. Good boy.
Good boy.
Right. Had to take quite a few out. I'm gonna have to count the ones I've left in rather than the ones I pulled out soon. So they're just falling out. Yeah, some of these teeth are really pretty bad, hardly having to pull them at all. As long as they're out of pain, that's the main thrust of what we're doing today, and he's going to be much more comfortable with all these teeth out, and his breath will smell a lot better as a result. So there we go, Jess, all finished. And all the teeth that remain are nice and white and healthy now, but yeah, quite a few teeth removed, more than I thought.
How many has he actually got left then?
Well, he's got 19 left, but I removed 10.
Wow.
Oh,
Wait till Mummy hears about that, hey?
Yeah. Let's let you wake up then, big guy. Hey? Yeah. So today, of course, he's lost quite a few teeth, but what he's also lost is some pretty horrendous breath. And I think Hannah's going to thank me for that, and certainly her cuddles with him at night times might be a little more plentiful now that he doesn't stink so badly.
Good boy. Sleep it off.
Back at Scott's house, Zoe's sister Maz has arrived to pay the patient a visit.
I think I can hear your Auntie Maz.
Hey,
Oh, stay calm.
How are you?
Better for seeing you.
Hello.
Are you squeaking for Maz, are you? It's hard to know what her squeaking kind of represents sometimes, but I think that's happy squeaking.
The former makeup artist is going to give Betty a little makeover.
So Zoe and Scott have called me in today for my expertise in the situation with Betty, which is general pampering, preening, and helping her look as good as she can.
She's like, I don't like this normally.
I don't need to have it done. Just do a little trim. I would do whatever I could to help Zoe and Scott at a time like this. I'm glad it's something that's going to make Betty feel better about herself. I wish there was a lot more I could do.
Look at this, professional trim. That's a good girl. Well done, Betty.
She's a clever girl.
Very
I'd
good
say
girl.
you'll feel so much better, but you probably won't give 2 hoots.
No.
However, Mummy and Daddy will.
Yeah.
Betty definitely is a part of the larger family, without a doubt. You know, when we met Scott, we met Betty. She's a sweetheart. She loves licking, and you'd normally be telling her to sit down, and right now all we want her to do is stand up. But she's, without a doubt, she's part of the family. Every single one of us absolutely adore her, and are just really hoping that she gets better.
Is there anything this woman cannot turn her hand to, Betty, hey?
Just do your nails next.
But it's one step too far. Put me back on my
Don't push it.
Oh, thank you so much.
All right.
Wakey, wakey. Mummy's come to pick you up soon.
Later that day, Stanley is ready to go home.
Good boy. Oh, straight away I can smell your breath smells better. Oh.
The King Charles Cavalier Spaniel has recovered well from his drastic dental work.
Who's that? Oh, Stanley. Hello.
There he
Oh,
is.
he looks so well.
So The news, of course, is that he has lost quite a few more teeth than I anticipated.
Okay.
It's gone from what I thought was maybe 2 or 4 to a full 10.
Ooh.
He's got 19 left, so fear not. I've left more than I've taken away. But what is very good, and hopefully will mean that he gets more snuggles with you, is that his breath is a lot better.
His breath is so... Oh my God, it's really, really good.
Yeah.
He's still got enough, apparently, to chew, and all the main ones are kind of still intact. So he just hasn't got a full-on Hollywood smile. It's kind of like a gappy Hollywood smile.
All right, then.
You did so well, though.
Well, thank you so much for
thank
bringing
you
him in.
so much for doing such a great job.
And we will continue to monitor him as we have.
Thank you very much.
It was great to see that after a big day here at the practice, Stanley still had a wag in his tail for Hannah.
Bye, thank you.
Yes, Stanley lost 10 teeth, but he's gained much nicer breath. And that's going to mean he's going to get many more cuddles with Mum in bed, which is only a good thing.
Where's the squirrels? You gotta get up so you can go and play with them. Not that they'd call it playing with, would they? No. No, they wouldn't.
With his work over for the day, Scott can now focus on Betty again.
Where's the squirrel? Where's the squirrel? Where? Where is it?
As a special treat, he's carried her to the local park, and she's lapping up the one-on-one time.
Been a lot of clinical environments, a lot of injections and lots of tablets and lots of treatment going on and lots of sadness. And so to sit in the sun and to see her responding to the birds and the other dogs and the squirrels was just really nice. You know, this is her behaving like a dog.
Oh, what are those doggies doing? Are they running? You'll be able to do that soon. You will. You will.
But right now, there's really not much to write home about. You know, she can't move, she can't go to the toilet by herself, and even though Michael said, wait 7 days, it's just so tough. It's excruciating.
Just try and use your legs, baby.
Hope doesn't even go anywhere near to explain how much I'm willing her to get better, because I'm not even contemplating the alternative, because I just don't want to. So she is going to get better.
Start using your legs and you can enjoy it all, can't you? Start walking again. That's what you need to do. Come on in. Trying to see everyone. Hey? Go and see all the team. Yeah? Good girl. Here we go.
It's been 6 days since Betty's spinal surgery, and at last, there's positive signs.
Oh, my word, look at you.
I know, she's even wagging her tail.
Oh,
look at that.
darling.
Wagging tail. The first sign of hope, the glimmer, was that Betty wagged her tail at my mother-in-law. Now, usually when mother-in-laws come into the house, you're not that impressed. But apparently my dog was.
And look, but she's actually
Betty.
doing her best to stand on her own now. See? Aren't she, sweetie? She's still very weak on the left, but she is so much stronger on the right. And she actually stood up yesterday, which is very exciting, wasn't it?
Who's a clever girl?
Didn't you?
Who's a clever girl? It's literally amazing.
Nice to see her a bit happier and a bit of spirit back, isn't it?
And back to licking.
Yeah.
Back to licking every inch of everybody.
Disgusting.
Wouldn't have you any other way. You know, everybody needs a win. We can't save every animal. We can't diagnose every problem in a heartbeat, you know? And to have Betty come in today, standing, wagging her tail, happy, smiling, and all of that is the biggest win that you could ever ask for, because alongside her was Scott, happy and smiling, and they come as a bit of a package, those two, I think, and it's just made everybody absolutely lift their spirits, and yeah, it's a good little tonic for everyone to have.
Hey, Jess.
Hey, Scott. Oh,
Hey, look. Who's that? That's your little friend.
She looks amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
She's coming along really, really nicely. She's just
starting to stand, and now it's all about trying to teach her to walk.
I've actually got a little something for Betty to help her with her walking.
Oh, wow, that is amazing. Wow, so a little sort of stretchy sling support thing.
That's right.
Made of dressing material. I can even see you've braided dressing material. Can't even braid my kid's hair. That's unbelievable.
All right. She's a special little girl, so had to be done.
The whole team have been just so supportive during this really fairly tragic journey, and I know that both they really want to see Betty and Betty really wants to see them. Good girl.
Oh, Betty.
Ooh.
Look at that.
Wow.
Look at
Yes,
those
that works so
legs.
well. Every single day I'm seeing big jumps. I'm going to continue to push her as much as I can, offer up everything I can to really just get the dog back that I love.
Come on, clever girl. Look at that. What a good girl. That's it.
And I know she can do it. She's a brave, plucky little dog.
That's it.
There is seemingly a light at the end of the tunnel.
Clever girl. You are so clever. Well done, honey. Show us what you got. Good girl. That's it.
And 1 week later.
That's it. Nice and slowly. Clever girl. What a clever girl. Good girl. Good walking, honey. Well done. Well done. Well done. Good girl.
It was an incredibly special moment when I knew Betty was back.
Come, Betty. Come on.
Summer, my eldest daughter, called her and she actually stood up and walked to her. And we're just so, so grateful for that.
She's all better. She's got all her legs except for that back left one. It's really getting better.
The decision-making process that I went through with Betty, I think, crystallises just how much you need to listen to owners because they do know their animals. And I knew my dog. Good girl. I've been a vet for a long time and I've really never felt what it's like to have the shoe on the other foot. And if I didn't take my job seriously before, I certainly do appreciate it now.
That is to take her temperature.
Quinn totally wants to be a vet, so she'll copy anything that Daddy does.
She has 1,000,000.
So poor old Betty, sick or otherwise, she's gonna get the treatment. And Summer just is just such a loving kid. They all are, but that's definitely Summer's role is the cuddles, and Quinn's role is the medicine. So it works quite well. Betty seems happy.
I absolutely love Betty. She gives me so many kisses because I do so much nice things. Thank you, Betty, very much.
I think it was really difficult to keep the faith as the minutes and the hours and the days ticked by and Betty wasn't showing any signs of improvement. And it's balancing your emotions at the same time as the kids constantly asking, when is Betty going to walk? Is she walking yet, Dad? Those heartbreaking things that you are protecting them from what might be an inevitable outcome of a paralysed dog. It couldn't have been more difficult.
You can make her better.
I think the journey I've been through with Betty is catharsis. It's literally like someone has written down my life and the job that I do and then showed it to me. And through that window, I can see just how important my profession is to people's lives. And I don't think there's ever a point in my life where I can say that I'm more proud to be a vet.